ago. For those of you who may not be familiar with the contest, I doubt that's very many of you, the Rose of Tralee is one of Ireland's largest and longest running festivals. It's an international event that involves young women of Irish descent from around the world and from Ireland. And every year more than 30 international roses come to Tralee from the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, the Middle East, and of course Ireland to take part in the festival. Very popular around the world with over 500,000 viewers from over 69 countries tuning in this year. So, without further ado, will you please join me in welcoming onto the stage warmly our Consul General Helena Nolan and Roisin Wiley, Rose of Tralee 2023.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be back. It's great to have you back. Thank you. Absolutely lovely to have you here. Congratulations again. I have a few questions that we're going to talk through, and then I'm sure our friends in the room will have questions for you also, so we want to get to those also. Everybody here is okay? Yeah. I'll keep it much closer here to make sure. So it's been like 2.5 weeks since that fabulous evening when you were chosen from among the 32 roses to become 2023 Rose of Tralee. New York is very proud of you. You've made your triumphant return here, starting with First Friday, so we're thrilled with that. Can you tell us a little bit like what the atmosphere was like on the night and what it's been like in that time since you were chosen?
Yeah, well, I think when my name was announced on stage, the next 48 hours were a bit of a blur. I think somebody was just on my arm the whole time, bringing me to different interviews, meeting different people, and it was shocking because of just, the gravity of the last 2 weeks that we had spent on the Rose Tour and in Tralee, and then to, be given the sash as the Rose of Tralee, it was very overwhelming in an exciting way. Coming back to New York, I was definitely a bit nervous and sad. I felt like I had just kind of won the lotto over in Ireland and then had to leave it and, not really experience the full weight of the win. But it actually has been very nice now to get back to a bit of normalcy, back to work, back to just kind of my normal life, I guess, over here in New York. But I'll be back in Ireland for the ploughing in 2 weeks. So my first fancy official event over there in Ireland. But yeah, no, I think that since the moment of being selected it still really hasn't hit me that I think I would feel the same sense of overwhelming excitement even if I wasn't named the Rose of Tralee, just because, our time on the Rose Tour and our time in Tralee was just so unbelievable that now to think I get to walk away and still get to experience it for the year, experience it next year, is just so exciting.
Great. It sounds like an amazing experience. We'll come to a bit more of that later on, but first I want to take you back in time a little bit because your mum and dad were there with you and were obviously hugely supportive and thrilled when you won. So just tell us a little bit about how mum and dad came to leave Ireland to come to New York and what it was like growing up in Westchester and how you maintain those links home with Ireland.
Yeah, so my mom and dad, Magella and Eddie, they were both born in Limerick and born and raised there. So my mom is from Templebanton, my dad's from Kilmallock, and my dad's one of 5, my mom's one of 8, and they're the only 2 of their family or their siblings that came over to New York. I think both of them had come separately on vacations and loved it, and I know my mom had come over. She said, I'll go over for 6 months and then I'll go back to Ireland, and then she never went home then after that. So my mom or my dad always says that my grandma asked my dad to come over and watch over my mom when she was here. They met over in Ireland and then dated throughout their time in New York, got married in Ireland. But I actually did ask my mom, I was like, what brought you to New York? Was it the opportunity? Was it the jobs? And she just said, no, we just really liked the city. We had a great life in Ireland, but it was great to be able to come here. And then once they came over, they weren't going back. So that really kind of was the root of why they came to New York. And then throughout kind of my life growing up, we started in Woodlawn, so I'm sure a lot of you, maybe some of you live in Woodlawn. I went to PS 19 there on Catone Avenue, and we moved up to Eastchester in Westchester when I was in 3rd grade. And my brother John and I had a very kind of typical life growing up. We played soccer, I did Irish dancing, you know, my mom had us in music, but we were back to Ireland every year just because my extended family was over there. So back to see cousins and aunts and uncles, and we were very lucky to have such close ties to Ireland growing up. Yeah.
Fantastic. And of course now you live and work in Manhattan. Can you tell us a little bit about your professional career and also, you know, how you're going to balance those commitments with the expectations of the year ahead of the Rose Tree? You're going to be a very busy ambassador.
Yeah, it'll be a busy year, but so my current job now is in marketing and sales at a company called Neptune Retail Solutions. My job really is so if anybody's walked through a grocery store here and you see like a coupon machine or a different sign in the store, that's what I am selling then to my clients. So right now I work with Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer, and let's say Tylenol is coming out with a new product, I would help them then develop a marketing plan to reach their target shopper, whether it's in-store marketing, digital marketing, or print marketing. When I first started working at the company 6 years ago, I had absolutely no idea what the company did. It was on my college website and I applied and you know, everything went well with the interview, but I think, you know, I've learned a lot throughout my career, and it's been a great opportunity for me to fully kind of embrace public speaking and you know, speaking in meetings. When I first started, I was so nervous to even just have a meeting with my boss. And then, you know, as the years went on and as you were challenged in different ways, I have found my confidence in public speaking and whatnot. So that has been a bit of a journey. And then in terms of managing that now with the Rose of Tralee, I think I'm just going to take it day by day. I'm still going to maintain my current job, and the Rose of Tralee has been extremely understanding of balancing those two. So hopefully I'll just use my PTO days wisely and be able to balance the two over the year.
Well, I'm not surprised you aced the interview, or any interview. I think everyone will agree you're a very accomplished public speaker and interviewee. So tell us then, that obviously prepared you really in many ways for the process of the competition, but what inspired you to actually take part in the Rose of Tralee? Where did that inspiration come from?
Yeah, so I'd always obviously known about the Rose of Tralee, like everyone here probably growing up and you know, having it be a part of your family or what you watch on television once a year. But so that was really the case for me. It was just, you know, Roisin also meaning rose. I think in my family we always joke about, oh, the rose, but I never really thought about going for the Rose of Tralee. It felt like just, you know, a dream. And then back in 2022, I saw that the selection was happening in New York, and I applied with a week of between, you know, application and the selection. And I went for it in 2022. I wasn't selected, but I had such an amazing experience just at the New York portion of the selection, meeting the girls. Katrina Collins was named the 2022 New York Rose, and following her journey then over the year was so exciting. I met Sophie over here, our 2015 New York Rose. So I just kind of made such a wonderful network of girls just from that one weekend where I knew I had to come back in 2023. I went for the 23 title, and I was selected and was able to go to Tralee. And I will just say the experience has been the most empowering, exciting, full of love thing that I've ever done in my life. And even just from the New York selection, I felt that. So girls, like, I would just highly encourage you, if you're thinking of it, whether it's in New York or back in Ireland, like, consider participating, because just the selection in your own home, you know, county or state is so kind of empowering. But yeah, I'd say that was really kind of the inspiration for why I went for it. It was something that I've always thought about. I was at a time in my life where I didn't have too much direction. I was living at home with my parents, you know, post-pandemic, didn't really know if I was enjoying my job or not, and just wanted to do something for me. And this has ended up being, you know, such a perfect outlet for that.
Fantastic. Actually, we were chatting earlier and I was saying to you how I was at home and switched on the TV, and it was the moment that you were singing. And I don't know if everybody's seen this, I was just mesmerised. And after you finished singing, I just said to my husband, that girl's going to win. So would you just tell us a little bit about the song, because it's very personal and special to you and your family?
Yeah. So the song I sang was called "The Cottage with the Horseshoe Over the Door." It's a song that my mom's dad, my grandpa, Charlie O'Reilly, he would sing to the kids. And I think it was just kind of like a fun song for him to sing. And it's the song that my mom then sang to me in the hospital after I was born. And when I was named the New York Rose, my mom said to me, I said, I have no idea what we're going to do on stage. I don't know what. She's like, sing that song. It's something, you know, it's a quick minute-long song, very easy. We can all sing it. But it ended up actually being so nice to sing it on. It made me feel very kind of comfortable because I wasn't doing it for anybody but my family. So I think in that moment I was like, look, if I don't sound like Mariah Carey up there, no, it shouldn't matter. I'm just doing it for my family, and it was a nice little thing to do. I think when I was on stage, yeah.
You know, there's a really powerful message in that. I think, you know how people talk about authenticity? I mean, that shone through. I didn't know you, I didn't know your story, but that, I think, really shone through in that song. So it was a brilliant choice, so beautifully done. Okay, I'm just going to ask you one more question about the competition itself, and then I'm going to open it up to the floor. So it was watched, as Andrew said, by over 500,000 people around the world. And what we noticed was that there was an 8% growth in viewership among younger people aged 15 to 34. So what is it, do you think, about the competition that still resonates with that younger generation? And what do you think that means for the future of the festival?
Yeah, well, that's exciting to hear that the viewership is growing. I think one of the things that has resonated most with me, and what I would think would resonate with everyone, is that the girls on stage are girls that we all know. You know, it's teachers, nurses, students, businesswomen, and what we're talking about on stage is so relevant to all of our lives, whether it's our jobs, whether it's even just something simple like, you know, the teams we support or the dresses that we get to wear, you know, and then on top of that, maybe some heavier topics like bullying or mental health or dealing with loss. And I think, you know, what we're all up there representing is very relevant to what we all experience in our lives. So I can see a big part of that being the reason why it resonates with so many younger men and women, because, you know, we're just regular people up there who happen to be wearing a pretty dress and, you know, got our makeup done. But at the end of the day, we're the people that, you know, we sit in the classrooms with or at work with. So I think that knowing that it's something that everybody could get involved in and everybody could stand up there is a big reason why it resonates with such a wide audience.
Yeah, fantastic. And also, I suppose, that sense of that global Irish family, and it really helps to bring people together, and we find, as you say, we all have so much in common. So with that, I'm going to throw it open to the floor. We have a few more minutes. I'm sure there are lots of questions. We don't have a roving mic, so just put your hand up and shout out if you have a question for our fantastic Rose. Who's going to ask the first question? If not, I have more. So, oh, I see one at the back.
Okay, thank you, Helena. Roisin, congratulations. That's fantastic. I am showing my age now, but I want to know, Daithí O'Shea, is he lovely?
He's lovely. No, Daithí was a pleasure to talk with, and so was Catherine, but it was actually so nice. All of the girls, we got to sit down with both Catherine and Daithí multiple times before going on stage, and we really got to know both of them, and they got to know us, and we didn't know who was going to be interviewing us until the day before the selection, or before the first show. So yeah, Daithí was very nice, very easy to talk to. I will say Daithí, I would say, was a bit more kind of joking and wanted to just make us laugh and, you know, find something that would make us feel comfortable, whereas Catherine was very focused on helping us kind of find what our message was and really kind of like, what do you want to get across on stage is something that was very important to you. So it was nice to have the balance between the two, and I loved having the two presenters. I thought it was a nice change up for the show. Catherine actually interviewed me, but I felt like I got to know both of them just as well. Yeah.
And you were telling me about the escorts and the rosebuds as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we do still get escorts. So every girl is matched with a boy, her escort, and then as well as a rosebud. And we all kind of joked about it the whole time, like, oh God, this will be funny. They have to walk us to the bathroom. They have to, you know, they all have to take their jackets off at the same time, put them on at the same time. It sounds very antiquated and almost awkward when you think about it, but we were so happy to have the boys there. They met us in Tralee. I was paired with a boy named Tommy Quirk, and it was the best. For me, it added to the whole experience, because I think the 32 of us were we weren't sick of each other, but the girls, we needed a bit of change up with our conversation. And so it was nice to have the boys there. And they were also just great to keep us in line. We needed somebody to keep us on time, somebody to help us walk through crowds, which is just crazy to say, but there are crowds and people do want to take pictures with the Dublin Rose, the New York Rose. So it was nice to have somebody to just walk you through and say, all right, we got to get to the next spot. And then we had our Rosebuds as well, which were they were just, very cute little girls that spent some time with us over the weekend. And they really, I will say, the Rose of Tralee organizes the whole experience to a T. We did not stop for the 2 weeks, but it was, and we had someone to meet, people to take pictures with the whole time, but they were so good about organizing every little aspect of it.
Yeah, it does sound like it was brilliantly organised and
Yeah.
a fantastic experience. So any more questions for our wonderful Sophie and
Hi.
Jane?
Roisin, first off, I'm just beaming. We're all so proud of you. It's been such an honour to be on your journey and watch you on stage. As Helena said, we were all just awed by you. And I could stand here and just congratulate you all morning. But I think it's not so much a question, but what I thought was really special about your journey in the Rose of Tralee was that, as you mentioned, in 2022, you weren't selected as the New York Rose, and that ambition that you showed and that sort of, encouragement and belief in yourself is something that has inspired me, and I'm sure so many people in the room today. So I just think that's really important to highlight. And the other thing I did want to say was, I know from years ago that being the New York Rose is something very special, and our Irish-American connection, I feel is so important. Did you feel like you got an extra special welcome in Tralee being from New York?
Yeah, thank you, Sophie. I will say I met Sophie in 2022, and since day one, Sophie, you've just been a light and somebody that I've looked up to throughout this whole thing. So thank you, that means so much. But yeah, I think being an international Rose is a bit unique because half of you kind of wishes you had the same sort of experience as some of the girls who were selected and had really kind of the love of their county. But then, being in New York, there's people in here from Dublin, from Cork, from Limerick, from Galway, and you kind of get to represent every county. And I felt that when I was over, where no matter where you were, New York kind of always got a bit of a shout out. And so we have such a strong community here in New York, and I felt that when I was over, yeah. So it is a special title to wear. I'm almost sad. I was a bit sad saying bye to the New York sash, but look, it's,
You'll always be the New York Rose. Jane, I think you wanted to ask a
Yeah,
question as well.
congratulations, Roisin. You're just so inspiring. It's amazing to hear your story. I was just wondering, so you mentioned how, you were at home and living at home and you really want to do something for you. I'm just interested to know, what's next? So obviously you have whatever schedule the Rose of Tralee do, but do you have something, like a passion or some message that you want to send out into the world now? What has this opened your eyes to, and such that all the people in this room can think of you, help support that message that you want to send?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. Yeah, I would say my big message and kind of what I've learned over the last, let's say, 2 years of just participating in this and having to take a look at myself and talk about what is important to me, what's important to my family, and kind of just believe in myself. I'd say I just want to encourage everyone to trust the process of life, and there are going to be good times and bad times, and there's going to be times where you feel a bit confused and lost, but trust what feels right for you and believe in yourself and just work towards that. So take small steps. I mean, when I was living at home and after the pandemic threw us all off, but I was definitely kind of lost about what was important to me and what I wanted to do next in my life, and having to just stand on stage and speak about my family, speak about my, how I grew up, it helped me find what made me feel important and made me feel confident. And that took time. There was a lot, and I would just kind of encourage everyone to take a look at yourself, find kind of what makes you happy, and just to remember that and follow that, and that will lead you to a place then where you just feel your strongest and most confident self. I think for the next year, I get to, wear this sash and represent this title that just means so much, happiness and for so many people, and I just hope to fully embrace that and take on every opportunity I can. This just feels I feel so at home kind of with everyone here and talking about something that just feels so close to my heart. So I hope that, everyone can find that along their journey and it takes time, but just trust that it will happen. Yeah, so thank you for that question.
I'm sure your current employers are thrilled to have you working for them. No, that's really inspirational, I think, what you said, and really, really good advice for everybody. We've a little bit more time, so I think I can take one more question. Nick.
Hi Roisin, congratulations, and thank you for representing everyone here from New York. You just mentioned that you represent people from all over Ireland and across the world. I just want to know, over the kitchen table with your wonderful parents, was there ever any conversations about switching your allegiance to Limerick?
Oh no. My escort actually was from Kilkenny, and so that was our whole. That was the issue the whole time, was that he brought me a Kilkenny jersey, and my dad's using it to wash the car anyway.
I have no words. I think on that amazing final note, we might get ready to wrap up. Unless there are any more questions, I want to thank Roisin. It was an absolute
Thank you very much.
pleasure
Thank you.
to have you here with us. I'm not at all surprised, as I wasn't the minute I heard you say, I'm not at all surprised that you swept the boards. You really are a fantastic role model and ambassador. You've said some really inspirational, helpful things here today. And I think we all want to wish you every success for the year and years ahead. I've no doubt you're going to be stellar in whatever you do. Congratulations again.